Electric vehicles might have seemed like the future of the automotive industry, but this new engine could spell the end for them. Picture cruising down the street in your sleek new vehicle. No engine noise, no exhaust fumes, just smooth, clean power. It might sound like science fiction or an electric vehicle, but GM is on the verge of making it a reality, and it's poised to outshine electric engines. This engine is more convenient, cheaper, and most importantly, greener. How? It harnesses the power of air, operating similarly to internal combustion engines, making the transition seamless. This innovation is set to completely transform our understanding of cars. So, why is this such a game changer? When a major player like GM commits to something, you can bet it's going to disrupt the status quo. Now, you might be thinking we've heard about revolutionary engines before and they didn't deliver, but this isn't just a distant dream or a concept that will never materialize. GM is serious about bringing this technology to market, and they're putting their money where their mouth is. With their electric vehicle plans struggling and bleeding money daily, this is a do-or-die moment for them. The best part? This impressive engineering feat is based on a straightforward concept, using compressed air to drive pistons. Hey, if you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. So, how does it work? It all starts with air compression. The process begins by drawing air into a compression chamber where it's pressurized until it's ready to unleash its power. Think of it like packing a suitcase so tightly that you can barely zip it up. It's intense. Once the air is fully compressed in the chamber, it's ready for action. When the pressure reaches the ideal level, it bursts out, driving the piston with a surge of energy. This is the moment when the potential energy of the compressed air is converted into kinetic energy. Essentially, it's what gets things moving. Imagine releasing a tightly held balloon and the rush of air that follows. The energy release is just as exhilarating. Now, when the piston pushes out to do its job, it doesn't just hang out there. After doing its duty, the piston has to make its grand return for another cycle, right? So, what did they do to make this happen? Simple. Enter the spring mechanism that helps the piston slide back into its cozy spot, like a well-trained boomerang getting ready for its next throw. So what's next? This is where the magic really shines. The whole process keeps cycling, providing continuous motion as long as there's enough air supply. It's like a never-ending game of tag, but with air as the star player. Who knew something so simple could work out so effortlessly? It really makes you wonder why no one has ever tried it before, but they actually have. Ready for a mind-blowing fact? The story of compressed air vehicles goes way, way back. We're talking 19th century old. Imagine strolling through the streets of Paris, and instead of horse-drawn carriages you see sleek trams gliding by, powered by nothing but air. Cool. Now, you might be thinking, if air-powered vehicles were so awesome, why aren't we all driving them now? What happened to them? Short answer, the internal combustion engine, the muscular new kid on the block that knocked air power off its pedestal. But some people didn't just lose hope yet. In the early 2010s, Peugeot made something incredible. They've cooked up this crazy hybrid powertrain that combines a regular gas engine with, get this, compressed air technology. They called it hybrid air, and they showed it off in a tricked-out Peugeot 2008 crossover. We're talking a hydraulic motor unit paired with a compressed air energy storage system, all working alongside a conventional gas engine. It's like they took the best of both worlds and mashed them together. But here's where it gets really juicy. This bad boy promised fuel economy that would make a Prius faint. We're talking up to 81 miles per gallon in normal driving conditions, and in the city, it could have been even better. Oh, and did I mention it was supposed to be cheap? Peugeot claimed this air-breathing beast would be 45% more affordable than those fancy electric hybrids. That's right, eco-friendly and wallet-friendly, the dream team. Plus, this system was so green it made EVs jealous. No rare earth elements, no lithium, just good old-fashioned air. So, what happened? Why aren't we all zooming around in air-powered cars, laughing at gas prices? Well, that's where things get a bit murky. Despite all the hype and promise, Peugeot quietly shelved the project. It's like they threw a massive party, got everyone excited, and then ghosted us all. Not cool. Now, we don't know exactly why they pulled the plug, but maybe the tech was trickier to implement in the real world than they thought. You know how sometimes things work great on paper but fall flat in practice? It could have been like that. Or perhaps it was a money thing. Even though it was supposed to be cheaper than electric hybrids, it might have still been too pricey to make a profit. After all, car companies aren't charities. They've got to make that sweet, sweet dollar. There's also a chance that electric cars just started taking the spotlight. And let's not forget corporate shenanigans. PSA Group, now part of the megacorp Stellantis, might have just decided to put their eggs in a different basket. You know how it is with big companies. Sometimes they do the opposite of what they are expected to do. For now though, Peugeot's hybrid air system remains one of those tantalizing what could have been stories in the automotive world. The good thing is that it shows GM what not to do, but Peugeot's not the only one who tried this. There is one more car that achieved riding with only air, and the stats on this bad boy are pretty impressive. So let me break it down for you. This little urban warrior could supposedly cruise for about 125 miles on a single tank of air, and the AirPod's exhaust? Pure clean air. That's right, folks. The only thing coming out of this car's tailpipe is the same stuff you use to fill balloons at birthday parties. Can you imagine a world where traffic jams actually clean the air? And get this, it could reach speeds of up to 43 miles per hour. Okay, so you won't be winning any drag races, but it's perfect for zipping around the city and making all your fossil fuel-burning neighbors green with envy. And you know how annoying it is to wait for your electric car to charge? Well, the AirPod was supposed to take just a few minutes to refill. And just like Peugeot, Tata claimed this air-powered wonder would be way cheaper to make and maintain than your average gas guzzler, or even an electric car. It's like they found the holy grail of affordable, eco-friendly transportation. So with all these amazing features, why aren't we all cruising around in AirPods right now? Well, as with any groundbreaking idea, there were a few bumps in the road. For starters, compressed air just doesn't pack the same punch as gasoline or batteries when it comes to energy density. It's like trying to power your house with a hamster wheel. Cute idea, but not exactly practical. Then there's the whole infrastructure issue. Sure, air is everywhere, but those high-pressure filling stations? Not so much. It's kind of like inventing an amazing new ice cream flavor, but forgetting to make the cones. You've got a great product, but no way to deliver it to the masses. So what's so special about this one? Now we all know that it is not a new concept, but GM's turbocharged it for the 21st century. You see, GM's not just recycling old ideas, they're innovating like there's no tomorrow. First up, let's talk about their turbocharging trick. GM's cooked up these high-pressure air tanks that are so powerful, they're giving traditional gas engines a run for their money. And they've turned the entire car chassis into one giant air tank. It's like they've taken the think outside the box mantra and applied it to the whole dang car. Now you might be thinking, won't all that pressurized air turn my car into a rolling bomb? That's a good question, but GM's got that covered with some seriously incredible materials. They're using something called fiber-reinforced thermoplastics, which is just a fancy way of saying really strong, really light plastic. It's the same stuff they use in those insane racing cars that look like they're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, even when they're standing still. But it gets even better. GM isn't just trying to make a cool car here, they're on a mission to save the planet. And for all you speed demons out there, don't worry, GM hasn't forgotten about you. This air-powered wonder isn't just eco-friendly, it's also a performance beast. Thanks to the turbocharging and those lightweight materials, you're looking at a car that can go fast without guzzling gas. GM's basically took everything we thought we knew about cars, tossed it out the window and said, hold my beer. But as with anything that sounds too good to be true, there are some catches. There are still lots of things to think about. Why is it not here? First up, let's talk about reliability. You know that friend who's always promising to show up but ends up flaking at the last minute? That's kind of what GM's 2.7 turbo engine is like. It's got a nasty habit of guzzling oil like it's going out of style, and sometimes the turbocharger decides to call it quits altogether. Not exactly what you want when you're cruising down the highway, right? Plus, despite GM's advancements, these bad boys run hot, and while GM's trying their best to keep things cool, all that heat can really take a toll on the engine's performance and lifespan. It's like trying to run a marathon in a sauna, not exactly a recipe for longevity. And speaking of durability, maintaining a turbocharged engine is kind of like having a high-maintenance pet. You've got to stick to a pretty strict schedule of oil changes and checkups to keep everything running smoothly. Miss a few of these, and you might find yourself with a very expensive paperweight sitting in your driveway. And it is like the saying, it's not about how you perform in practice, it's about how you perform in the game. Well, turbocharged engines might be all-stars in the lab, but in the real world they can be a bit of a letdown. Sure, they've got power, but when it comes to fuel efficiency, especially when you're hauling a load or stuck in stop-and-go traffic, they might not live up to the hype. It's like ordering a salad to be healthy and then drowning it in ranch dressing. Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? So, if it is this hard, why is GM this dedicated to making it a reality? Now don't get me wrong, every company dabbles in research and new tech, but GM seems to be so committed to this idea. So, what are their intentions? They have been on a mission to revolutionize the industry. Mary Barra, GM's fearless leader, has her sights set on a zero-emission future. It's a noble goal, right? And they thought EVs were the future, but in their rush to catch up with Tesla and dominate the EV market, they've hit some serious snags. So this is their way. Their only hope, sort of. Let me explain. Remember when the Chevy Bolt rolled onto the scene, promising to be the electric car for everyone and their grandma? It was like Christmas morning for eco-warriors and tech geeks alike, but as it turns out, not all that glitters is gold, or in this case, not all that powers the future is pure.